Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Akmal Fatah with NPM 25412065. Okay, today I would like to presentation about macroeconomics, and the topic is understanding the big picture. A comprehensive introduction to the study of entire economies, from national income and employment to inflation, growth, and policy. Okay, guys, enjoy the video. First, what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is the branch of economics that studies the economy as a whole rather than individual markets or actors. It focuses on aggregate measures that reflect the overall health and performance of a nation or region. Aggregate focus examines economy-wide phenomena such as total output, overall employment, and general price levels. Next, national income tracks the total income earned by all participants in an economy, a central measure of economic activity. Next, behavior and structure. Analyze how entire economies perform, evolve, and respond to shocks, policies, and global events. Okay, next, macro versus microeconomics, two sides of the same coin. Both branches of economics are essential and deeply interconnected. Macroeconomics zooms in on individual decisions, while macroeconomics zooms out to see the aggregate outcome of millions of those decisions. Microeconomics studies individual economic actors, households, and specific industries. Microeconomics, how does a firm set its price, how does a household allocate its budget, and the last one is what determines supply and demand in a single market. Next, macroeconomics studies aggregate variables that emerge from the interactions of all individual actors. First, what determines the national unemployment rate? Why does inflation rise across the entire economy? And next, the last one is how does government spending affect total output? Okay, next, key areas of macroeconomic study. Macroeconomics cover a broad spectrum of topics, each addressing a critical dimension of how an economy functions and evolves over time. First, production and national income. Measured through GDP and national income accounts, this tracks the total value of goods and services produced in an economy. Next, employment. Studies and employment rates, labor force participation, and the structural and cyclical causes of joblessness. Next, price levels. Tracks inflation and deflation through price indicators like the CPI, examining their causes and consequences. Next, consumption, saving, and investment. Analyze how aggregate spending, saving behavior, and capital investment shape economic growth and stability. Next, the last one is international trade and finance. Examines cross-border flow of goods, service, and capital, including exchange rates and trade balance. Okay, next, the business cycle. Short-term fluctuations. One of the most important contributions of macroeconomics is its analysis of the business cycle, the recurring pattern of expansion and contraction that characterizes market economies over the short run. This is the mapping, expansion, peak, contraction, and trough. During output raises employment growth and consumer confidence is high. During recession, output falls and employment less, and is meaning macroeconomists study the causes of the fluctuations and how policy can moderate their severity. Okay, next, medium-term determinants. Beyond short-term ups and downs, macroeconomics also examines the structural force that determine the baseline levels of key economic. variable over the medium run, typically spanning several years. What are medium-term factors? These are factors that shape the economy's underlying trend, distinct from temporary deviations caused by shocks or policy change. Structural unemployment and labor market rigidities, long-run inflation expectations, productivity trends, and technology adaptation. The last one is institutional quality and regulatory frameworks. Why they matter? Understanding medium term determines how policymakers design reforms that improve the economy's fundamental performance, not just respond to crises but prevent them. For example, labor market reforms or education investment can lower the natural rate of unemployment over time, independent of the pushiness cycle. Okay, next, long-term economic growth. Perhaps the most consequential topic in macroeconomics is long-term economic growth. The sustained increase in an economy's capacity to produce goods and services over decades. What drives growth? Growth is fueled by increases in physical capital, machinery, and infrastructure, human capital, education and skills, and technological progress that raises productivity. Why it matters for living standard, sustainable growth translates directly into higher real incomes, better public service, and improved quality of life. Even small difference in growth rates compound dramatically over time. Measuring growth is typically measured as the annual percentage change in real GDP per capita, adjusting for inflation and population size to reflect genuine improvements in welfare. Next, the role of policy in macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is not just an analytical tool, it is the foundation for economic policy. Governments and central banks rely on macroeconomics models to stabilize economies and promote long-run prosperity. First, fiscal policy. Paralleled by the government, fiscal policy influences decisions about government spending on infrastructure, education, and public service. Next, taxation levels and structure, and the last one is budget deficit and public debt management, used to stimulate or cool aggregate demand. Next, monetary policy. Controlled by the central bank, monetary policy involves first setting interest rates to influence borrowing and spending. Second is managing the money supply, and the last one is conducting open market operation, used to control inflation and spirits output. Okay, next, a brief history. The Keynesian Revolution. While economic talk ancient roots, modern macroeconomics was born in 1936 with the publication of the General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money by British economist John Maynard Keynes. First, pre-Keynesian era. Classical economists believe markets naturally self-correct. Unemployment was seen as temporary and voluntary. Second, the Great Depression. Mass unemployment and collapsing output set classical assumptions, demanding a new framework. Third, Keynes the theory. Keynes general theory. 1936. Keynes argued the aggregate demand drive output and the government intervention is necessary during downturns. The last one is modern macroeconomics. Keynes' ideas become the foundation for post-war economic policy and remain central to macroeconomic thought today. Okay, last one is why macroeconomics matters. Macroeconomics is not an abstract academic exercise. It directly sets the policies, institutions, and decisions that affect every person's economic life, from job opportunities to the price of groceries. First, understanding economic events provides tools to analyze recessions, booms, inflationary episodes, and financial crises, helping us understand why they happen and how to respond. Next, informing policy decisions. guides a government and central banks in designing policies that stabilize economies, reduce unemployment, and improve citizens' well-being. The last one is analyzing global trends, offers a framework for understanding international economic challenges from trade war and currency crisis to climate change and inequality. The ideas of economics and political philosophers, but both when they are right and when they are wrong, are more powerful than is commonly understood. John Maynard Keynes. Okay, guys, that's all for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.